Muslim is proudly sponsored by Shiraz Auto. For all your Mercedes-Benz sales, service and parts requirements, call Shiraz Auto on 011 213 1100 or visit our website at shirazauto.co.za.
Well, it's just gone 7 minutes past 6. Welcome back to Sabahul Muslim on Radio Islam International this Wednesday morning. Yeah, it feels like a Monday morning because yesterday was a public holiday. Not only was yesterday a public holiday, but many were off on Monday as well. So it became an extended weekend, like a 4-day weekend for many people, for students as well. We've got to go back to school this morning, but we've got to get going. And I think sometimes we need to use the freshness that comes after having a bit of a break to try and get ourselves to be more productive in what remains of the working week. So instead of putting yourself in a negative space by saying, "Oh, now I need to get going again. This is going to be a hectic 2 or 3 days because of the break." So mentally, you're writing off the rest of the week. Don't do that. Speak to yourself. Our self-talk must be very positive. By nature, it tends to incline towards the negative. A lot of waswasa and whisperings from the devil plays a part in that negative self-talk. But we need to rise above that and say, well, okay, I had a bit of a break. I did things differently, so that should bring a bit of freshness to my mental and emotional state. Now, let me use the remaining 3 days of the working week to be more productive than I would have been on a Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And in that way, I can make it a productive week overall. That's from the material, worldly perspective. From the spiritual perspective, we need to be saying to ourselves that all the barakah and spirituality of Ashura and the fast and everything associated with it, let me now use that momentum to ensure that for the rest of the sacred month, because the rest of the month is also sacred, that I continue to maximize on the offerings of this month. All good deeds, the rewards are multiplied, but then we have to be careful because the sins are also multiplied due to the sanctity of the month. And it's the last of the 3 consecutive sacred months. Then it's a long stretch until Rajab, which is another sacred month, which takes us into the Sha'ban, Ramadan season, inshallah. So we need to be careful about that. We need to be really cognizant as to where we are and how valuable every day and every week and every month is in our lives. So that's the first thing that I wanted to share with you this morning in terms of my comment for the day. The second thing is really tragic what happened to Solly's Corner. It's not just a business, right? It's part of the history of the area. It's not that, oh, where are we going to go and buy our fish and chips from? It's about all the memories associated with the place. There are reports circulating as to what could have been the cause and who could be responsible, and there is speculation. I think for now we'll err on the side of caution and not delve or go too much into that until there's official comment in that regard. But I am concerned, and I was saying this to my siblings yesterday when we were sitting, and one of my siblings saw the message on his phone and said, Solly's Corner is up in flames. And I said, well, of late we've had a number of Muslim businesses, unfortunately, that have burned. It's something to be aware of. Maybe the reasons in each one would be different. Some they may have been human error. Some they may have been a technical fault. Some they may have been arson and intentional cause of fire and damage. But the fact that there's a number of businesses and homes. I mean, we had one year just not too far away from where our studios are in Lenasia, a home that burnt last week as well. These fires, a number of incidents of fires at either businesses or residences are a cause for concern. There's no two ways about it. Now, thirdly, and we make dua to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala that He grants sabr to the family and that He restores them with that which is better than what they lost, inshallah. Okay, and then the SMQ that we're asking for this morning, the question. It is true that South Africa right now, has a huge problem with unemployment. Jobs are scarce. People who want jobs just can't get jobs. This 350 social grant, which started during COVID, is continued to be, is going to be rolled out for a while anyway. Some just wait for it. It's all that they get. I mean, $350 is nothing. We know that, but for some, it's better than nothing. And others just say, I'll get the grant. I'll get my this. I'll get my that. I'll leech off the state. I'll leech of others. I'll just depend on others, and they become lazy. Now, some have come out and called South Africa a dependency state. Another term that is used is a nanny state. So there's two parts to the discussion. One is the broader discussion, which you can comment on, that are we a dependency state? Are we a nanny state? How do we address this? Some politicians say the government does this intentionally to keep control over people and to continue to secure votes of people, because people know, or they are made to assume that if this party is in power, we will continue to get our grants. If another party is in power, they're talking against these grants, so therefore we'll continue to vote for this party, even if this party is allegedly responsible for us not having a better life. That's one debate. Another debate also is on a lower level, that you may not necessarily be taking a grant rather. You may be part of the middle class society, but within our ranks also, as the middle class, we have those who just become lazy, who become dependent on others, who become dependent on their parents, who become dependent on their siblings, who become dependent on their family members, who become dependent on welfare organizations within the community, that they must just help. You hear some shocking stories of people who were getting help, and when welfare organizations decided, or when individuals decided that, no, you know what, we don't want to help them any longer because this is now becoming a dependency issue, and we've given them due notice to try and get a job, and they were offered jobs and they just declined it, or they took jobs and they didn't put their heart into it. And when the welfare stops, they just lose themselves. They take out their frustration and their anger, and they aim a lot of aggression against the people who were helping them, against the very hand that was feeding them. So within our own ranks as a community also, is dependency becoming an issue, where we're dependent on others, or we're dependent on the welfare contributions of the community, not necessarily the state. So within the Muslim community, whatever contributions people are giving towards the organizations or directly towards individuals, is that now becoming a cause of us becoming too dependent of others and not making enough of an effort to try and earn our own way? We are aware of that hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, encouraging the Sahaba to go out and chop wood and sell the wood, rather than to extend your hand to others. Do whatever you can do, and do whatever needs to be done to be able to earn a halal livelihood. Your thoughts, you can WhatsApp us, as I said, 072 786 1548. 13 minutes past 7, coming up in a bit, our hadith for the morning. Then we have the media lens with Ibrahim Deen. We're talking about the imminent Iranian nuclear deal with the US. After 7:30, words with Mulana Wajah, Tafsir of Surat Banu Israel. We just commenced with it last week. Michael Beaumont, the chairperson of Action SA, talks to us about the two very high-profile resignations in the KZN region, which has resulted in the party dissolving the KwaZulu-Natal PEC. It seems like there's a lot of internal issues within Action SA currently. After 8, Dr. Dale McKinley and Brooke Spector both talked to us about Anthony Blinken's visit to South Africa. That's the US Secretary of State. We continue our discussion around the women in the life of Musa alayhi salatu wasalam this morning, focusing on his wife. And then towards the end of the program, Professor Lindy Heineken, who's a associate professor of sociology and previously research and deputy director of the Center for Military Studies at the South African Military Academy. She will join us on the line to talk about whether the army is really on standby or not. We spoke last week about the reports doing the rounds. The army is kind of denying it, saying it was an internal document. But even if it was an internal document, does it mean that the army is on standby? And how does all of this work? We'll get an update in that regard, inshallah, closer to about quarter to 9. That's what you can look forward to this morning in what remains of Sabahul Muslim. It's just gone 7:15 now. Time for this morning's hadith.
Hadith discussions on Sabahul Muslim with Maulana Sulaimaan Ravat.
عن أبي قتادة الحارث بن ربيعي رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: إني لأقوم إلى الصلاة وأريد أن أطول فيها فأسمع بكاء الصبي فأتجوز في صلاتي كراهية أن أشك على أمه. رواه البخاري. Abu Qatada, Harith ibn Rabi' radiyallahu anhu, narrates that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, I stand up to perform salah with the intention of prolonging it, but then I hear the crying of a child. So I shorten my salah, not wanting to cause any anxiety to the child's mother. This narration is in Bukhari. Um, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's initial intention to prolong the salah is because of the enjoyment and the contentment that the Nabi of Allah and the Sahaba used to get in the salah. So they would want to prolong it. However, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was fully cognizant, and this is a lesson for Imams, of the different types of people that are part of the congregation. And if he saw that there was a kid troubling its mother, he would shorten the salah so as to not further stress out the mother. Actually, to this extent, in one narration, it is mentioned that in the first rakat of the salah, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam recited a lengthy surah. And in the second rakat, he only recited 3 verses, which is the minimum, because he heard the crying of a child and he did not want to inconvenience the mother. Normally, you try and even out the rakats. The first rakat is slightly longer, but the second rakat should not be too much shorter. Here, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam recited only 3 verses after having recited a lengthy portion in the first rakat, out of consideration for the convenience of a mother in the congregation. So we should be aware. There are old people, there are people who need to get back to work, there are people who are sick. Therefore, you should be moderate in the duration of your salah, the postures of your salah, and all of this ties up with the theme of the chapter, and that is having compassion and mercy for Muslims. 17 minutes past 7 after the break, Media Lens.